Hey guys, welcome back to another PS2 Memories video. Here we are actually taking a look at Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast. That was developed by Sumo Digital and then published by Sega's AM2 department way back in 2006. And this game is more of a reimagining of the original game that Sega actually released on consoles way back in the 80s and early to mid 90s. The game also does utilise a new engine that was released at that time that corresponds to the arcade and how graphics were actually starting to become a lot better on systems back then, and this was kind of at the midway point of the PlayStation 2's life cycle, not long before the PlayStation 3 had actually started to appear. The one thing to note with Outrun 2006 is the incredible graphics that are on show. That was one of its highlight features, as the graphics actually were that good that you would consider it to even be a PS3 title, as it was very fluent graphics, the environments, the assets, everything was actually just well put together. The gameplay is fast, it's frantic, and it's just a very reflective arcade experience. One thing to even take away from my own experience actually having played it is that the game itself got an arcade version of a re-release on the PlayStation 3 later on, a few years later, with just the arcade elements, as a lot of the other elements were removed that were in this game were removed from the arcade version that was on the PlayStation 3. And I myself actually purchased that game, and honestly I absolutely loved it. I actually played that a lot. I was totally addicted to it. It was a really good game. So actually getting to play this version of the game, you can see that they literally took the best parts of this game here and actually ported it over to the PS3 later on. But even at that, the coast to coast version, as you can see here, actually had a lot of elements that wasn't seen on other versions of the game. There was a lot of game modes and a lot of other features that were only on the PlayStation 2 version. Some of the main noticeable differences was the selection of cars that were on offer, but a lot of the game modes as well, and you had progression levels where you could actually go in to buy different cars based off like points that you would actually earn throughout races, and you could unlock different features. Again, you can unlock the cars, and there was loads of different attributes that you could actually unlock to actually gain more access to different areas and to just increase your overall gameplay experience. Along with that, it had an awesome reimagined music soundtrack with some of the most iconic tracks from the original games, and they're actually very addictive even to listen to. The game is actually just fun to play. Like, I can't say that enough about the game. And even having played the PS3 version later on, when I actually had a PS3, the game actually just is really addictive, and it's definitely just a really good, well put together arcade game. And it definitely offers a challenge. It's not to say that it's easy, but it's just one of those games that you can just literally come in and just pick up and play and just have a blast for about 15-20 minutes or half an hour and just have a lot of good fun. And not only that, the more you play it, the better it actually gets. But even going back to the likes of the game modes with regards to the progression systems, even with unlocking cars, some of the other game modes you actually have to go through different criteria in order to be able to progress to different stages. You have to go through racing like point to point races, or you actually have to do modes where you actually have to impress your girlfriend in the car by doing and completing objectives like smashing into cars, avoiding traffic, making sure you don't crash, all to try and get specific rankings at the end of each stage, which again increases your score so that you can unlock more stuff as you go through the game. So all in all, there was definitely a lot here that actually added to the experience. The game itself also did come packaged with a version of Outrun 2, which is pretty much the arcade version, and that was also the version that was actually ported later to the PS3. So you definitely get a lot of bang for your buck, if you will, in terms of the game. There's a lot of cool features, and again, game modes, there's definitely a lot to keep you playing here, and it's just really fun, really addictive. And funny enough, having to come back and play it now after a while of not actually getting the chance to play this for a number of years, I've forgotten how good this game actually is, and it's still as addictive as ever. I found that once I sat down to play it, I started to enjoy it all over again, and I found myself actually putting a lot of time into it and didn't even realise that I was actually putting so much time into it. Again, the game is just so much fun and it's very addictive. Like anyone that's into racing games, but it's more so to the point even arcade style games. There's something here pretty much for everybody. This game is just a lot of fun. I can't state that enough. But the one thing I will say is, for a PS2 game, the graphics are quite incredible when you consider it and compare it to a lot of other games on the system. And there are a lot of really good looking racing titles on PlayStation 2, but this here game actually is definitely up there with the best of them, and you can see why you got a port to the PlayStation 3 later on, because again, the graphics, you can't really tell the difference because of it being a really good arcade port of the original game. Each of the environments as well, as you're going through, the gameplay does determine how difficult it is depending on which direction you take at the end of each stage. If you can either go left or right, and depending on which version you actually go after will determine how difficult the latter stage will actually be, so it will definitely add to the challenge. Not only that, even with the likes of the challenge modes, you have a lot more things that you need to do, and each challenge becomes more progressive and even more difficult the more you actually play through the game. But there's definitely, like I said, enough here to actually keep you going and to really give you a really good challenge and to really test your skill levels on the game. Basic enough to play, but again offers enough of a challenge and enough difficulty to really test even the best of gamers out there. So it's definitely something that really is worth looking into. And if you're a fan of these type of arcade racers, I highly recommend you check this game out if you haven't done so already. Again, this version of the game with all these added features was only seen on the PlayStation 2, so if you do want to go and check it out, you'd have to get your access to that version of the game. But it's definitely worthwhile looking into, and I highly recommend that you do, because it is a worthwhile experience. So much fun, even just for a quick casual play, even with your mates, and you will definitely have a laugh and definitely a blast with it. It really is good fun, and it's the way games really should be. They're just simple at its core, but offers enough challenge to keep you coming back for more. So I highly recommend it to check it out. And I'd love to know your thoughts of the game, if you actually have played it, and if so, what are your experiences with it? Be sure to share it down in the comments below. So if you have enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more style videos like this, where I do provide other reviews and gameplay videos of similar style of arcade racers that were on the PlayStation 2, then make sure to leave a like on the video. Also be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to be updated whenever I release future videos. Also be sure to check out some of the other videos here on screen, where I have provided other similar gameplay and review style videos of similar games that were also released on the system, where I share my thoughts and experiences with everyone. So make sure to go and check them out, and I will see you all over in the next one.